The stone you're dragging weighs more than your entire family combined. Your hands are wrapped in linen. The linen is already soaked through. You can feel the rope eating into your palms with every step forward. Around you, 10,000 men are making the same sound, a low, collective grunt that rolls across the plateau like a wave. You are one of them. You didn't choose this. A scribe came to your village 6 weeks ago. He counted heads. He pointed at you. And now you are here, on the Giza Plateau, in the 48th year of the reign of the great god Khufu, doing the thing you were told to do. You are not a slave. You are a conscript. There's a difference, and it's going to matter to you for the rest of your life. Level 1. The farmer who gets called. It is flood season. Aket. The Nile has swallowed your fields whole. There is nothing to plant, nothing to harvest, nothing to do but wait for the water to recede. Back home, you'd be mending nets and eating last season's grain. But last week a government scribe arrived in your village with a reed and a clay tablet. He walked down the row of houses methodically. He counted. He pointed at you. Your wife stood in the doorway holding your youngest. She didn't cry. She understood what the pointing meant. Every man in the village understood. This is the labor tax. Hiket. The state's claim on your body during the months when your body would otherwise be idle. The scribe told you it would be 3 months. You packed for 3 months. You kissed your children. You walked away. That was 6 weeks ago. You stopped counting the days around week 4. The plateau is unlike anything you have seen in your life. You grew up in a world of flat mud and low horizon. Nothing prepared you for the scale of this. The base of the structure alone stretches further than you can see from one end to the other. Blocks the size of houses, stacked with a precision that should not be possible. Men everywhere, teams pulling, chiseling, carrying, measuring. You are one unit in a machine so vast you cannot see its edges. A foreman assigns you a rope and tells you where to stand. You have never seen anything bigger than a grain silo. That's about to change. Level 2. The quarry. Someone hands you a ball of dolerite stone. It is roughly the size of your head. It weighs about as much as a small child. Your job is to hold it in both hands and pound it against the limestone face in front of you, until the limestone gives. The noise never stops. The quarry runs from before sunrise to past sunset. The men around you cough constantly. A fine white dust coats everything, your linen, your skin, the inside of your mouth. By the end of the second day, your palms are bleeding through the wrappings. By the end of the first week, you stop noticing the bleeding. Your body is doing something it has never done before. It is building calluses faster than the stone can remove them. You are being physically rewritten. But here is the thing no one told you before you arrived. You are being fed, not the thin barley porridge and dried fish of lean season at home. You are receiving rations from the state. Bread, 10 loaves a day. Beer, onions, garlic, salted fish. More food than your household sees in a good week. The workers around you, the ones who have been here longer, eat with a focused efficiency that tells you everything. They are not grateful. They are experienced. They have done the math. The food is better here than anywhere else. That is not an accident. That is strategy. You understand this on some level. You don't care. You are hungry and the bread is real. The food here is better than anything your farm ever produced. That's the trap. Level 3. The rotating conscript. You have a gang name now. Drunkards of Menkar. A scribe read it from a list and the men around you laughed. And you laughed too. A short, surprised laugh. The first one in weeks. It echoed off the limestone. For one moment the plateau felt almost human. You say the name again on the walk back to camp. Drunkards of Menkar. It sits in your mouth like something solid. The gangs are called files. Each one runs on a rotation, a set number of weeks on the plateau, then replacement. Evidence of these gangs is scratched into the stone itself, right here on the walls of the Giza complex. Friends of Khufu, vigorous gang, drunkards of Menkar. These names were not given by supervisors. The workers named themselves. That means something, though it takes you a while to understand what. You start to learn the other men in your file. Ka, who snores. Nebet, who can move a block faster than anyone on the site and knows it. Meritaten, who is 16 and pretends not to be frightened. You begin to learn their rhythms, their weaknesses, the specific way each man sets his feet before a pull. You cover for each other in small ways, an extra pull when someone's back gives out, a water skin passed without making a production of it. This is what the gang system was designed for. Not just efficiency, control through belonging. The state gave you a name, a rotation schedule, and standardized rations, and in return you started to feel like this was yours. The pyramid, the work, the men beside you. You would die for these men, and some of them will. Level 4. The permanent worker. Your rotation ends. The replacement gang arrives. The foreman tells you to step aside. You are supposed to go home, but a scribe pulls you aside before you reach the road. They need men who know the plateau. Men who understand the ramps, the rhythm, who don't need 3 weeks to become useful. They are building a permanent workforce, not conscripts cycling in and out, workers who live here. The state will house you, feed you, care for you if you're injured. If you die here, and men do die here, they will bury you with proper grave goods. Your name will be on a stone. They found the workers' cemetery in 1990, buried near the plateau. The graves had food, tools, small amulets. These were not the graves of slaves. Slaves are not given grave goods. Slaves are not given names on headstones. These men were interred with the respect given to people who mattered. The state knew what they were building. They knew what it cost in human bodies, and they honored that cost in stone. You think about your wife, your children, the apartment that leaks when it rains. You think about 3 loaves of bread a day at home versus 10 here. You think about the crack in your wall that your landlord will never fix. You think about the fact that you have been here long enough to know things no conscript knows. Your body has adapted, your hands have hardened. You are, right now, one of the most valuable workers on this plateau. You send word home. You won't be back this season. You are not forced to stay, technically. But the rations are real, the community is real, and somewhere behind you the pyramid is rising in a way that you now understand personally. You know which blocks came from Tura. You know which ones were floated down the Nile from Aswan, 800 kilometers away. You know what it cost to move them. You're building something that will outlast every king, every god, every language that ever named them. Level 5. The skilled craftsman. You watch a mason set a casing stone one morning. The joint between it and the block below is almost invisible. Not approximately tight, invisible. You find out later that the tolerance on those joints measures less than half a millimeter. The width of a thin leaf, done in limestone, done by hand, done right. You ask him how. He doesn't answer. He just nods at the stone and goes back to work. So you watch. For weeks you watch. You start to understand the way the grain of the stone dictates where the chisel should go, the way a copper-tipped drill finds a line that wooden tools miss, the way a true mason touches a surface not to test it but to understand it, the way a farmer reads soil by feel. There is a whole language in this work that you did not know existed. The morning a master mason watches you set a block and says nothing, not a correction, not a word, just continues to the next task. You understand that silence. That silence is a promotion. You are moved to the specialist quarters in the workers' village, better housing, larger rations. The possibility of commodity payment on top of the bread and beer. You have become valuable in a specific way. You have something here that you don't have on your farm. Expertise, status, the particular pride of knowing that what you do cannot be done by just anyone. The pyramid is no longer a weight on your back. It is a reflection of your hands. You are building the only thing in the world that will never be destroyed, and part of you loves that. Level 6. The gang foreman. They give you a rod. It is a short wooden staff. It weighs almost nothing. But when you walk through the worksite carrying it, men move. Not because they fear the rod, though the option exists, and everyone knows it. They move because of what the rod means. Authority. The state's voice in your body. You carry it the way the scribe carried his clay tablet into your village, years ago, with the flat certainty of someone who has been delegated power by something much larger than themselves. Your title is Imir, overseer of. Your job is to manage your gang, track rations, maintain pace, and report to the upper administrators. The Wadi al-Jarf papyri, the oldest written documents ever found, sealed in a cave near the Red Sea, dated to Khufu's reign, show men in your exact role, inspectors named, rotations tracked, rations allocated, supply chains managed. This was not improvised. This was a bureaucracy as sophisticated as anything in the ancient world. You are now part of that bureaucracy. And one afternoon, a man in your gang collapses. His back has been failing for days. You have seen it. The way he shifts his weight, the way he sets his jaw. You kept him on the rope anyway, because the quota requires it, and you are 3 men short this rotation. He goes down in the middle of a pull. The block stops. You look at him for a long moment, and then you tell the other men to keep pulling. He gets up eventually. He finishes the day. You don't check if he's alright when the shift ends. There isn't time, and you're not sure it would help. But that night you lie awake in the foreman's quarter, which is larger than anything you've had since you arrived, and you run the moment back. What you did, what it says about you. The pyramid doesn't wait for one man's weakness. You knew that before today. You just didn't know you were the kind of man who acts on it. You just learned something about yourself you can never unlearn. Level 7, the Chief Overseer. You don't touch stone anymore. Your hands have softened. You read papyrus now, reports from the quarry at Tura, manifests from the Aswan granite boats, workforce numbers, ration tallies, copper tool inventories, projected timelines. You sit in meetings where men plan sequences of work that will take 5 years to execute. You are not managing a gang. You are managing the managers of gangs. You are a node in a logistics operation that feeds, houses, and directs a workforce of tens of thousands. The man at the top of this system is named Hemunu. He is a nephew of Khufu himself. His title is Overseer of all the king's works. His statue still exists, held in a museum in Germany. He is well fed in that statue. He looks like a man who has not felt the weight of stone in years. You are becoming that man. You attend a planning session, where the discussion is about ramp geometry. The angle of the construction ramps determines how many men are needed, how much time each course takes, how the whole structure rises. The math requires a certain number of workers to be positioned at a certain location at a certain phase of construction. The math also means those workers will be carrying weight that breaks bodies. Everyone in the room knows this. No one says it. It is absorbed into the calculation like a material cost. You are clean. Your linen is white. The men below you are not. The pyramid rises because of decisions made in this room. You haven't felt its weight in years. You don't think about the man who collapsed on the rope anymore. Or you do, but briefly, in the way you think about weather from a season ago. Something that happened. Something that passed. From up here, 10,000 men look like sand. Level 8. The Master Architect. You are alone in a room with a papyrus. On it are the final measurements. The capstone calculations. The precise angle that will bring the 4 faces of this structure to a single point above the desert floor. The pyramid is aligned to true north within a fraction of a degree, a precision that required tracking star patterns across months, mapping the sky, translating the heavens into geometry. It is not just a building. It was never just a building. It is a machine designed to carry a dead god back into the sky. Every measurement is a religious act. Imhotep built the step pyramid at Saqqara more than a century before you. He was the first architect in history to leave his name on a structure. He was later worshipped as a god. The architects who designed these pyramids, Hemiyunu, or whoever held the final authority, understood what they were doing. They were writing their names onto the surface of eternity. If the geometry is wrong, if the capstone doesn't meet, if the chamber ceilings fail, the name attached to this structure gets erased, not metaphorically, literally scraped from the record. You think about level 1, the scribe arriving in your village, your wife in the doorway, the dollarite ball handed to you in the quarry, the gang name that made you laugh, the man who collapsed on the rope, the papyrus reports and the planning sessions and the clean linen, the long climb from the bottom of a system to the top of it. All of that, every back broken, every callus earned, every man buried in the cemetery below, comes down to this angle, this number, this line. You set the papyrus down, you double-check the calculation, then you check it again. The pyramid doesn't need you anymore. It never did. And yet, here you are. The capstone is placed. The pharaoh dies 6 months later, before the outer casing is fully polished. The structure stands anyway. It has been standing for 4,000 years before the word Egypt is spelled in any language a modern human would recognize. Somewhere far below the plateau, a government scribe is walking down a row of village houses. He has a reed and a clay tablet. The flood season has come again. The fields are underwater. There is nothing to plant. He stops in front of a doorway. A woman watches from inside, holding a child. The scribe counts heads. He raises his hand. He points. The work begins again.